Hi, Tim Sells here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about, will technology replace network marketing or network marketing distributors? And this came to me by a comment in one of my other videos. Some people were asking questions, and I just thought I would cover this one right now. And it's interesting to me that I got this question in 2020 because in 1999, there was this whole big campaign out there, and it was called MLM is Dead. It ended up being somebody who was just trying to be innovative, if you will. And they were saying that the old school of network marketing is dead. They weren't saying that network marketing is dead. But of course it made its rounds. And then in 1996, internet will make network marketing obsolete. That was the conversation that was going on. In fact, it was going on at the University of Illinois at Chicago with Professor Charles King. Okay, and so I had assisted with the development of a course there, and so we were all involved, and there was a kind of a council of people who were talking about it, and they were saying how it's going to make network marketing obsolete and things like that, and they asked my opinion, and I'm like, never going to happen. And they were like, what? Because I wasn't even falling into the trap of it. All right, so I want to share this in 2020. Kind of the same thing. So I just want to show you, I happened to go back in the old archives and I found files from that time frame. And this was the Direct Selling Association, who was getting the same sort of chatter from the network marketing company executives for them to go out and do a big survey and find out what was really going on. And so the Direct Selling Association funded a survey. They went out to the general population and they asked questions. Okay, so not the Direct Selling Association, but they paid a big group to do that. All right, and this one is it was really funny to me because so this is retail sales. Okay, right? So 99% of everybody surveyed had ever purchased from a retail store, so 100%. And then mail order catalog, and I think that one was 80%, 83% at the tops. And these are years, by the way. So you see three different columns in each one of these. These are years. And so 97 is the blue one, and then the gold one is 2000, and the red one is 2003. All right. And so if you'd ever purchased at a flea market, all right, this is funny to me, 79% had purchased from a flea market. How many people had purchased from direct selling? 63%. Direct selling through the internet, 41%. Direct selling combined being the internet as well as any direct selling, and that was 74%. And then there's kiosks, those little tiny things about this big that are in the mall. And then the internet as a whole, and then TV infomercials, and then TV shopping network and telemarketer. Okay, so we were just below flea market at that time. But the big correlation was how many people had purchased from the internet, right? So that was the big debate, that the internet was going to take over and make network marketing obsolete. And on 29 December 1999, I launched a video called Brilliant Compensation. It was an animated character. You can see, that's me. That was back when I had a mustache. And that's Professor Charles King. And this video had 44 million downloads. Okay, this little thing. And the reason that I did it that way, in 1999, if you were to try to watch a video, it was kind of like, you couldn't understand a single word anybody was saying. And so I did an animated version that would stream on the slowest of internet connections. I'm talking about fax machine speed. That would stream just perfectly. And now what was happening around 29 December 1999. Everybody in the world was freaked out. The end of the world was about to happen. If you were Now, if you were around at that time and were a little higher than a knee, then you know that was what it was. Y2K. It was year 2000. It was the end. Okay, and so it was a computer issue where nobody in computers had ever put a 2000 on something, and then also it was the time where apparently there was this connection with Revelations, and there was this connection with the Mayans, and there was all kinds of connections here. And I went to a movie theater that night or night before or something like that, and there was a guy who was handing out pamphlets, and in the movie theater that I was in. And so I looked at it and I read it before the movie started. And then when I was leaving, he was right at the outside handing out everybody who was leaving. And I said, "Hey, man," I go, "You really believe this? This is the end of the world? This is the second coming?" And he said, "I'd bet my life on it." And I go, "Bet your life on it, huh?" And I go, And he goes, "Are you right with God?" And I said, "I am." And I go, "Did you drive your car here?" And he goes, "Yeah." "Why?" And I go, "Where'd you park?" And he goes, "Out there." And I go, "Will you give me your keys?" He goes, "Why?" And I go, "Well, if it's the end of the world and you're willing to bet your life on it, then you won't need your car." And, and that was when I realized that he was willing to bet his life on it, but not his car. So needless to say, all went well. We're still alive. And I feel the same way about the certainty of network marketing, and I'll explain that. You see, and I'll go through these numbers first. Good. So 1994 to 2000, this was the sales numbers, okay? And so everybody was kind of shaken up because of it. This was 94, 95, 96, and all the way across, right? And so this was the number of people who were, it was rising, but the sales numbers were flat, pretty much. And but then in 2018, okay, so that was the latest numbers, we're at 193 billion. That would be a stick about like that. Okay, so 193 billion, 193. That's 85 billion there. Okay, so we've gained more than a billion. Okay, incredible. And this over here is the number of people. That's 447 million, and we're now at 118 million. Okay, so why would I be so certain? Right? There will always be value in a person who can unconfuse a person. That is what I bet my life on. Okay? Because that's the way that I look at everything. It's the way that I look in, the basis of the entire network marketing model is this to me. And the reason that I say it that way is because if I'm confused about a computer to buy, I'm looking for somebody to unconfuse me. That's the value of a sales rep. If I go in and I'm trying to figure out what camera to buy, I'm looking for somebody to unconfuse me. What phone to buy? What's going to, unconfuse me? Who's going to do that? And as long as there is a misinformation machine running, then there's always going to be a value in a person who can unconfuse that misinformation, right? So as long as there's colleges saying, go into debt for a good 10 years of your life, then there's always going to be a person who can help teach people to make money, to take money into wealth, and to be able to keep that wealth, right? There's always going to be, as long as there's that machine out there. As long as there's a misinformation machine that states stuff like, you get all you need from what you eat, you don't need to take vitamins. as long as there's a machine like that of utter stupidity. Have you ever heard that statement? My cameraman's just nodding. And it's like, well, yeah, of course you've heard it. What's odd to me, and this is kind of what came out when somebody said that to me, it was a group of doctors that I was talking to, and I go, you say that and you don't even know what I eat? How in the world could you do that? Right? And I remember every one of them turning white-faced, just that simple thing back. In other words, how do you know I get everything I need from what I eat? Right? Because I said, what if I had a cup of coffee for breakfast and I had a Egg McMuffin during breakfast and I skipped lunch and I only had a Big Mac at dinner? Did I get everything I needed? How much folate is in that? How much this? And I just drilled. Okay, and they didn't know. You see, that is what I'm talking about, is that if you can help unconfuse a customer, you always have a position. And an industry certainly does too. When pharma says, if you have a headache, take an aspirin, they're also in effect saying you have a deficiency in aspirin, that's why you get a headache. As long as there's illogic like that, I've always got a job, right? I've always got a position. Technology cannot displace that, because that misinformation machine out there is pumping all the time. And as long as a commercial airs for 15 seconds and says something like silky, smooth, thick hair, and that's all they say, then I'll always have a position, because I can explain the toxins that create that in that skin, in that hair care. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say that network marketing always have a position, because we do more explaining and unconfusing the customer than anybody else in the world. All right, so I hope that's helpful for you. Do me a favor and comment down below. I'd appreciate it, and I love coming back in and replying. And if you have a question, like this was triggered by a question in the comments, if you have a question, please write it down below, and I'll take a look at it and see if we can't put it up here. Thank you.